We had this job to do down south. I knew this old Jeep sandblaster could handle it, but I didn't know if I could.
Power wheels, power wheels.
The trail was rough, what there was of it, but we made it. Okay, Ben, you're home. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Power Wheels new Jeep Sandblaster. Adult supervision required.
Alright, we're deep into this Power Wheels rebuild upgrade. So long story short, we are creating one awesome machine. Now, I can't take full credit for a lot of the stuff, a lot of the mods that are already done on this Power Wheels Xtreme cart. The people we bought it from put a whole pile of lights on this thing. Like a whole friggin' pile of them. They're everywhere. You put them in the clusters, but this whole thing over here, so everything you can see right here, that's non-responsive so far. I got to get that working. Seems to be the same with this low voltage sensor, but that doesn't matter because I'm removing that. I'm not even sure if that thing is going to stay on this in my upgrade. But these lights work awesome. This light bar works awesome, and these two. So the front has amazing lighting on it. The gentleman prior also had done motors upgrades, so he probably burnt out the original motors where they were starting to go, and he upgraded them with 18 volt rated power tool motors, which is awesome. Here's the catch with that though, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you do upgrade these to a bigger motor, your speed rating and gear ratioing in your gearbox is rated relative to that motor. So if you only run the 6 or 12 volts that were meant for that 6 or 12 volt motor, if you go and put a larger motor on there, you will in fact have a lower top speed just with one battery. So remember that. Of course, when you do your upgrade and you run in series or larger batteries to achieve the higher voltage, then that's awesome that you have these on there because they're going to take that voltage even better than the factory 12 volt ones that come with here. But that rating is very loosely based because these motors easily take 24 volts and do long durations with it. When you start getting into the 30 and 36 volts and more is where you're not going to be able to get long bursts out of here. You're going to overheat something, whether it be the motor or your cables. If you've done cable upgrades, if you've gone to heavier cables, that means that your weakness is in fact going to be the motors. But these 18 volt motors right here will easily do 30 to 36 volts. So here we go. From now on, at least all of our drive tires on our upgrades, this is going to be just part of a mandatory upgrade, is to do either the bike tire or just to get some better rubber skins on there. It's not exactly cheap going to Princess and buying the other tires, and then it's also hard finding the right tire size. And again, we were talking about speed and how your speed is regulated. Change your tire size down, change your tire size to a smaller tire, you're also going to lose that top speed that you have. So you got to take that into consideration. Also, the gentleman prior who owned this, I see that he tapped on some thread on here so that we have bolts on the back. So I took out the locking bolts that he put on there and put on some gold ones that bling a little bit instead. And they line up nicely, makes it bling a little bit more. It's handy when you got to do any servicing with that. But I don't think it's going to be needing much service. I noticed he also, when he tightened up his motors, he super glued or Loctited the bolts can't see them because they're on the other side of it now. But he greased them up, or he packed the grease, and he tightened it back up good. So I double checked it to make sure we're all good on the back end here. We got our rear end all tightened up, and the rear end and the drives are go, go, go. Let's go. And we're definitely back into the extremes. So I got the rear drives. I got the drives replaced on them now. They look pretty sweet. I don't know. Sometimes I think that whole paint over looks corny, but at the same time I know it protects them and makes them look slick again. Whatever. It looks sweet when they got some meat on those tires, that's for sure. So got those done over. Next is going to be to figure out if I can get those on the steers, because they are considerably larger as well. There's comparing right there. I think it can be done, but I'm not sure. And then that one, I guess I'm probably just going to let it rock like that, because it's actually pretty cool. This thing drives awesome. Back to work on the extremes here. We got two of these on the go, but one's going to be the sweet one. And we got a tear down involved in parts for that one. So although these bigger float tires I had from another wreck were going to work pretty good, I found this guy on Marketplace for 40 bucks. And although this was also kind of a wreck too, I'm going to get the two motors and gearboxes out of it. They're in good shape. As well, I got the 4 tires, which are now going to become the steers for these two. So this was the size of steers that came on the Power Wheels Xtreme in the late 90s or whatever it was. Jeez, this thing got to be vintage. And that's the size of tires that we're going to go up to give it bigger and better flotation. As well, these tires are just in better shape. So once I work my magic on them, these are going to be on the back of each of the Xtremes. We got 2 sets of those ready to go. So all the tires are figured out. This Xtreme, of course, is the one that has the massive motors on it, and it's got custom gearboxes for those motors. Those are really highly modded gearboxes, actually, like in almost every way, because those motors are designed for it. So the gears are different, as well as the holes are different, and just everything about it is different. So I can't change those ones around unless I modify another set of gearboxes, in which I do have sitting right here ready to go. And these are the beefed up gearboxes that you can buy pre-made from Amazon and not have to know shady people that make gears. And back at her. The steers on both of these Xtremes are getting done today. I'm pulling them off. They're going to get some bicycle tread, probably, depending which tire, but we're definitely going with these wide floats. I'm going to keep this car the way it is, mind you, the fixing up of the tires, and then we're going to go with those wider ones right there for the steers on this guy. And then they're going to be out there too. They got some custom steering arms here. That's going to put it out a couple more inches for sure, but we got to chop it down somewhere, like right here. Been a heck of a week here, but we met our quota and I sold 3 of these things this week. Got a new one I picked up on the way home after just delivering the last one now. So now we get to have a little bit of time to work on our own machines. Now this Xtreme machine vintage vintage is the least I can say about it, because this thing's damn near 30 years old. That's what, late 90s, so 25 years for sure. Anyways, we just got our stance changed up here on the front. We got that nice wide stance. Those tires came off a $40 wreck, but the tires were in extremely great shape. And I ended up getting some motors and gearboxes out of it too that were not bad. So it worked out pretty darn good. Anyways, let's gonna steer like a crab. And then this one's a bit wider too, but I never got a chance to kind of paint those tires up. I don't know if I'm gonna do those ones or not. I don't have nice rims for them. These ones I do. This one's our hot rod. Well, this is the other hot rod too though. Man, these are gonna be awesome when there's some snow on the ground too. Those big ass chewers, but these ones are actually a tiny little bit bigger. Big chewer tires. That's what you need in Saskatchewan, folks, is big chewers. I haven't done one of these Polaris Outlaws yet, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's another pegger. But, yeah, we cleaned out the garage this weekend. Moved a bunch of machines. I don't know what it is, but everybody's buying up these quads, but I've been selling turbo quads like crazy. And although we thought about it, I don't think we're going to be listing that one. That guy's special. He's bigger and badder in every way. Unreal, man. Those tires are even a little bit bigger than Gator tires. This has Gator tires on it. These were actually the tires that the Power Wheels Xtreme used though. And then the Gator just changed up the tread a little bit, but we changed up the tread to get on it anyways. Yes, sir. Yep. Quick one on motors here. Those are some of your standard Power Wheels motors right there. The one on the far right now being out of a modern Razor, so it's a little bit bigger. I wouldn't exactly call it a 24 volts, but they do it a little bit differently. And then here is a large 18 volt out of a power tool. And it's significantly beefier, and it's going to take a way heavier load than that so-called 24 volt motor out of the Razor is going to take. And especially is going to take more than those 12 volt motors. But here's the thing. If you're supplying the motor with the same voltage, a small motor is going to go faster until it doesn't go any longer. So to make sense of what I'm saying here is that if you replace a smaller motor with the same power supply and then you put a bigger motor in there, your top speed is actually going to be slower until you give that bigger motor more juice. Now here's a quick video on running series and parallel at the same time. So we've got 4 batteries here, actually 6. There's 2 hiding in the front, but we're not going to count those because those are just for all of the lighting so that the lights don't interfere with any of our drivability. You can actually see what the voltmeter is on the lights at all times there. But anyways, this right here is a 4-pack of batteries that are run in parallel and then in series. So what I did was the 2 lower ones there, they are linked up together in series to make a 24 volt system, just the same as these 2 upper batteries. And you can see right here where the positive and the negative connect. And I know some people still don't quite understand the concept of this, but running batteries in parallel and series are completely different applications, and you goddamn right, so you need to know what you're doing when you do this or you're going to melt something down. Anyways, you can see right here where our positive supply is just coming from the 2 positives that are run in series, and the same with the negatives. So although we've got 4 12 volt batteries here, what this equals out to be is technically 2 24 volt banks. You could call it a battery, but when they're in more than ones, we just call it a bank. And so this bank has 2 batteries per bank, equaling 2 banks of 24 volts. Alright, here we go on the hot rod. She's got a whole lot of work done the past couple of weeks. All the lighting is complete. The stuff that was broke is fixed. This little prick here is riding on a Carolina crab now, we're calling it. Because it's not quite a Carolina lean, but it's got bigger meat tires on the front, lifted up a little bit. And it's got that crab steer that's way out there compared to the back. Check it out how this thing is coming along. We did a 12 volt test on it real quick after replacing those gears, And now we got 2 battery banks running series here to give us a 24 volt jolt. We're gonna go do that. And then I'm probably gonna disengage the 2 batteries in the front that are just for the lights. And that way we're gonna give it a 36 volt jolt today. But check it out. Snow tires are on and ready. Check out the Carolina crab on that boy. Lights are all dialed back in again. The clusters are working. All the clusters are working. Check that out. Forwards gives you the green, reverse gives you the red. Oh yeah. This is a 25-year-old Power Wheels. Did I mention that? Hence why it's got to be the dragster. I'm gonna do a little bit of uphill in the sand with this thing too.